Find the source code on github.com/CiviWiki under the Open CiviWiki project. I'm going to check a couple of stream settings really quick. I'm experimenting with the new setup. And then we'll go into some open issues that I've got some notifications for. So let me just check. Looks like we're good to go there. And there. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to be multi-streaming now, and we'll have a combined chat. So I'm just going to try to keep track of everything at the same time. Now we can see back to the GitHub page. We've got a couple of notifications. We've got a contributor who's wanting to help us register our Django models with the Django admin. Now that we are, well, I would say orienting the project more towards conventional Django development, we want to make use of the Django admin page for managing content or debugging content. So we've created an issue, and a volunteer is taking the issue just to go through all of our, oh, darn it, somehow. Somehow they're getting commits from other branches. Trying to think what's going wrong. If they could tell me their steps to how they're creating the branch. Let's see if there are even any commits in the project. Well, I can first check if there's any commits from that developer. This is their second try. They're having troubles with Git. They understand the Django part of the task. But I think what's happening, what are they basing this? It looks like it's based on CiviWiki develop. But it has 1,000 commits. Yeah, so we can't review that. Anything here? How to help them forward? Sometimes, yeah, Git can be the biggest hurdle in getting people started contributing to a project. Let me just take a screenshot of this. We gotta help. think part of it is, so they're falling behind. There may have been a rebase. We may have switched from rebase at some point. I'm not sure how old their fork is. But that's one of the problems. It was we were using rebase for a while, and that changes the history. Now, if Tim Osahenru has forked the project early, like months ago, you know, they might have been, there might have been, the history might have been rewritten and their fork is out of sync. So that could be one thing. Let's try to get them, let's try to recover from this. Delete or yeah, I think that's it. Ah, very cool. Well, we want to fork. Fork a repo. Alternatively, they can sync their fork, synchronize their fork. I'll introduce them to that step. This is the important part. I think somehow their fork is out of sync. Let's see, that's pretty much covered here. More or less the rest of them. roughly that. This should be. Yeah, basically. We'll get things sorted out. We'll get it sorted out. It's basically GitHub has just got a learning curve. Git's got a learning curve, and even working with Git on a daily basis, you know, pretty much daily basis, I'm still confused by Git, especially when we were doing rebase based development. Things get tangled, but even now with merge commits, you know, we're still having to deal with things like conflicts and whatnot, some of which can get tangly. So I think this is the general. This is the general flow. Delete, fork, reboot it, create a new fork of the project. And I suppose these can all just move the link to GitHub, yada yada, for consistency. Fortunately, GitHub's got this really great documentation and understands the pains of working with Git, I'm sure. But we've got to have some tool for collaborating on large text-based files. So this is it. This is what we've got right now. All right, cool. Yeah, because this, again, just makes it super hard to review. And I'm not sure what, and then we have these, because there's changes in unrelated files, we've got the README and all contributors, which have gone out of sync. So I think it'd be better just to reboot it. Also, I'm not seeing. Hey, Dr. Unafraid, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome back. All right, I guess I'm back on Twitch now. I haven't seen you in a while. Ah, there's no stream. Let's see. Okay, let me double check Twitch real quick. Could be. But check my profile. I did a sound check earlier, and I checked my channel. All right, it says live, open source live code hangout. What happens if I hit play? That's true. It says I'm live. What about on YouTube? Darn it. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see what there's latency, but at least I see some video on YouTube. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's working. Twitch, you're right. Twitch is not working, so you probably can't hear me. How do I chat on Twitch? I'm going to check a couple of screen settings really quick. I'm experimenting with the new setup. And then we'll go into some open issues. Yeah, it looks like I streamed for around 15 minutes on Twitch, but it says I'm live. It's so weird. Maybe my bitrate was too high for Twitch. OBS is still going. Darn it. Docs. Bummer, dude. I'll have to troubleshoot this later. Let me get at least my widget for chat so I can respond. Chat. No, it doesn't let me interact with it. I don't know how to get the chat up. But yeah, it still says I'm streaming. Well, I thought it'd be nice to add Twitch back because it's more active. I can't respond. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for checking that out, Dr. Unafraid. Thanks for checking the YouTube link, YouTube channel. Anyway, welcome back. Let's continue this live code. How have you been? Are you working on any projects lately? So basically, we're just offering some right now review of another pull request that somehow the Git commit graph is getting unrelated commits, and I think it's because we were using Rebase. I was using Rebase primarily for a while. 10 months ago, yeah, that's probably what's happening. Tim more than likely forked this repository many months ago, and now they're basing their work on that fork. So this is just a reminder why Rebase is dangerous or a little bit harmful on public branches. It's the advice not to use Rebase on branches where you're collaborating with other people. I didn't know that advice, and the organization I used to work used Rebase as the part of the workflow on collaborative branches, and I didn't really have a strong opinion, so I just went with the flow there. But I've subsequently realized that merge commits are much simpler, even though they might have some side effects that purists dislike, such as creating loops in your commit history. I think the simplicity is worth the side effects. Okay, Dr. Unafraid quit development, went into sales, and now only working with the YouTube channel. Very cool. What type of content are you publishing on YouTube? All right, so yeah, development. Development and sales go hand in hand as well. Okay, so I think we've got these. So we'll come back to Tim's work in another session, I'm sure. But I don't see their commits here anyway. Scrolling. It's quite strange. Us gaming, very cool. What games are you playing? You got any favorites? All right. Yes, so this is, for context, a big-ish, well, it's pretty big pull request I've been working on. We're porting what we're doing is simplifying the project, which is currently split between front-end and back-end code. We're going to move it back into using end-to-end Django. And that means Django template syntax rendered on the server. So server rendered HTML, CSS with sprinkles of JavaScript. This is very simple and conventional workflow that's probably the right architecture for about 80 to 90% of web applications. We don't have needs for a user experience that's as heavy or app oriented as like a Facebook or something like that at this point. CV Wiki could grow, but we're more in the vein of a wiki. So it's like a text editor that edits pages and sends that data to the server, which can render the data into a template. And that flow is fine for most of what we're trying to achieve. So we're going to unify the front end and back end. We're removing Backbone.js, which was the client JavaScript view model. And we're just going to start from there and then add new features. This Backbone and the split of the client server architecture has made developing this project very painful and disorienting. And essentially, I think has been one of the big factors for the project's decline. So we want to simplify things so that we can bring this project back to life and encourage other contributors. All right, Dr. Unafraid is playing Apex Legends. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good today. Life's going decently, just taking things one day at a time and facing one, relatively small challenge after another. Some kind of challenges at work, my day job, with the code base. Fortunately, they're just code base problems. And I think it's because of the architecture of the code base also, it makes it difficult to reason about. We're using microservices architecture with a bunch of APIs and services that are strung together via protocol buffers, and every change has to kind of propagate through many layers. Even just within one project, there's at least 3 layers for every change. You got a database layer, service layer, and API layer, and basically we're mirroring these changes, like we're writing the same code 3 times, so that we can have like type checking. It is what it is, and it's just a big learning curve for me. Okay, so we got let's get back to this. So always learning, but I'm not trying to complain, just explaining. But the weather's nice. It's autumn here in Finland. We've got a bit of autumn colors still left. The leaves are falling. So cool. We've got some really helpful feedback, looks like, from Gorkum. Awesome. Oh yeah, we can try this. Okay. So let's hop over to the code and find these lines of code. And I think with our GitHub integration, it should give us some helpful indications. If I open up project accounts, templates, partials, user civvies. All right, accounts, templates, partial, user civvies. And it didn't highlight Gorkum's feedback here. Anyway, they want me to rename the file to usercivvies.html. Let's go with that. The list is a bit redundant. Rename, Control A, delete. Yeah. Dr. Unafraid, I forget where you're from. If you're willing to share that, which part of the world are you from? If that's not too private. User followers. India, yeah, okay, very cool. So yeah, and India is vast. It has different climates almost. Seasons probably are somewhat different than Finland, particularly the winter. You get, I think, a monsoon season, right? Is the monsoon season around this time of year? User followers. List. So we're just taking the word list off of there. That makes sense. It's pretty a little bit more clean. And user threads and user following. Winter is on the way. Yeah, right. I think I just this user. I'm just copying and pasting to make sure I don't make any mistakes in this sense. Sometimes copying and pasting can be a bit dangerous. And I believe in the same spirit, we'll rename this to user following. And just take the list off of there. Boom. All right, these are partials, and what we're intending to do with these is render these into either new views or sub templates of the account view. Figured out, see how heavy the data are. How heavy the data is, I guess, works for that sentence. This originally was backbone template syntax, and we're salvaging it here. It should have a new line. New line there. New line there. That's what I was just doing. Oh, right. So we renamed these. We're in the process of this really big change. We're trying to preserve as much as we can. All right. Check. 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 And resolve. 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 All right. Yeah, I switched over to YouTube. It seemed a little bit more kind of chill than Twitch. Twitch has all these kind of gamification features like bits and Prime and all this stuff. It was just really busy, and I didn't want to kind of go that heavy. I just kind of want to stream some live code sessions on a. And I was manually kind of synchronizing all the live code videos to YouTube anyway. So I just thought, okay, well, let me stream to YouTube. But on YouTube, the chat is pretty quiet. It's kind of boring. So it was a trade-off. And so now I'm doing a dual stream to both that way. And both the chats are integrated so that we can have more action, more activity. All right. So basically, this is a little bit of a refactoring here. If I move these and to settings pie, I have to change them where they're used. Ah, cool. You sent me a link there that can fix my streaming. Very cool. Yeah, I'd like to grow more of a kind of community around here, mostly promoting these open source projects like CiviWiki. I want to get people interested and activated on these, on this open source in general. Okay, so I gotta figure this part out. So we did these. So if I move this to settings, let's go here. This will challenge my Django knowledge, but let's go down towards media. Sort of profile. And fix that. Trailing. Then I just need to, I think it's just load. All the configuration, and then if I want to access that settings, Settings up profile image. Okay, where are we using these? And in our models only? Okay. We find them there. We'll import it here. Django conf import settings. We've already done that. So we've got settings. Right. Settings dot profile. I mean, no. I think the dictionary. Oh, I see. Size dot YBG, which seems kind of weird to have to put that there, but then, oh well. Ooh. And since they're only using this file, it seems a bit redundant to move them into the settings module. Oh well. All right, let's try running this project. Whoa, I just realized that the chat doesn't render so well when I've got my browser up. I'll have to fix that chat contrast. Okay, catch you later, Dr. Unafraid. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so yeah, I'll have to put a little bit of a, I'm not sure if I can change the color, put contrast around the chat so that there's like a black outline with white text, for example, or gray outline with white text. So it's always visible. Yeah. Put a comma there. It'll make it a little more legible. Comma here, it'll make it more legible. Better not do the join. All right, so we got that. I'm wondering if I, for now, can put the code over here. That won't work either, will it? So we have to work something out with the Twitch chat. Cool. Let's see. So we've got that. Let me make sure I've defined that. That's a good point. 1151. Oh, 1429. Yep. Yeah, it's a good catch. This is resolved. Yeah, it's just one task. A follow-up task. All right, whatever. It's just one task, though. A separate task. Mm. I think it's trying to find the plural of that. Yeah. Mm. Where was that we did the expunge? It's been a while ago. Let's see. any issue. Oh. $1264, 227. Yeah, I can't fix all the functionality of previous things. This is just porting and trying to keep either feature parity or acknowledging features are going to be removed for a moment and then re-added. Uh, 1264. Maybe not. Where did we merge that? Oh, they said deleted. Well, 1264, and then we changed it to expunged apparently. All right, we don't use that, so that's good. Clean up. Accounts permissions. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Basically, to this point, I mean, I don't disagree. I agree that there's some. This is non-trivial, and there's some gotchas here that we should think about. I just don't agree that discussion should take place in this current issue because it's already really large in scope. Firstly, and my main goal here is just to port the stuff over to Django template syntax. I don't have the capacity right now to reevaluate a particular implementation. We are losing a couple of features that we will re-implement, but those will be handled in separate tasks where the scope is smaller and we can think about how the thing should work. I believe if we want to rewrite this deletion or expungement feature, it needs consideration, and it has already gotten it many months ago, and it had quite extensive discussion. And I don't think it's fair to put that burden into this pull request. In other words, I think it's out of scope. I think we arrived at a reasonable solution. It dates back to 2018 and took quite a while. We realized that you can't just delete accounts because the interrelationships of our data model mean that if we have a deletion at one point, that deletion would propagate into other related content like threads and comments. So you would call that a cascading delete, or we'd have strange behaviors with missing foreign key, orphaned items, for example. So we decided to expunge the data, which means just removing the personally identifiable parts like the username and first name and last name, and even email, and replacing it with just generic data. Now, in expunging the username, the username has to be unique. There's a constraint in the database. So the developer decided to put deleted. And deleted or expunged have a similar meaning. So this, all I did, if anything, it was just changed from deleted to expunged. It's not really significant change. Yeah, but here's the discussion, or an example of like what all would be deleted, some of which we do potentially want. But we want to keep to delete, like notifications, but we want to keep the conversation. And taking prior art into account, Reddit and Hacker News, have ways of soft deleting users. And anyway, this conversation took place, and we had wireframes and everything, and it just is what it is. It's how it is currently. If we want to reappraise it, we can open another issue, but it's already gotten due consideration. I'm going to take a pretty firm stance here. It's out of scope. I don't kind of feeling the pressure to put things in scope of that magnitude and an already large pull request. Anyway, not a big deal. It shows that Gorkum is taking care with the review process and thinking about implications of the way the system works beyond just the surface level changes. So that's key for a reviewer. But we also have to have the ability to know when it's appropriate to change certain behaviors and the process through which those changes occur. It starts with an issue and a conversation, and in this case, splitting it out into a new conversation is probably warranted. Although I'm pretty satisfied with how the expungement feature works right now. It's sort of a marginal feature, but it's important because people want privacy, and in some cases will want to remove their personally identifiable information. I'm not sure how often that'll occur, but nonetheless, we support that. So accounts permissions. Can we remove this whole thing? Project accounts permissions. Delete the whole file. In this case, we would need to also not show that in the data in the UI. All right. So this is an example of solving something in code, but could lead to inconsistent or unexpected behavior in the user interface. We have to also be able to think holistically on these. I did put a note to self here in the UI, but not in the code, about self-subscription. So we can fix this change. Can you follow yourself? Typically not views. And I can't just return, well, I can return that. You would have double return statements. Something like this would work. Can't remember if it's continue or pass. That I should use here. All right, and we'll comment it on the UI as well. Accounts, templates. I think I was just having a bit of trouble. Wait. If not, That would create a heck of an echo chamber. Period. Let's use that same comment here. Users should not be allowed to follow themselves. Did that work though? Terminal. So log in, Riley, test 1, 2, 3. Super secret password. Yep, there it goes. Profile. Okay, so this is the thing. Just gotta get the right syntax here. The right syntax and or the right attribute. I can do it as a property in the view. Or just writing the template. I think there should be a solution in the template. Let me check the data model. So if I'm viewing a user, there's that. If I'm viewing a profile, we have a foreign key. So profile.user should relate to the user. This is evaluating to truthy. Interesting. I just realized. What happens if I change this? Huh. If user profile user is request user. Show that button. Doesn't make sense. We don't want the actions to be visible. Is not. What the heck? Oops. What did I just change? If not, what are we viewing here? What are we viewing here? And I'm viewing my own profile, but where's this view? Let's look at the view. Good grief. And we want the user so we can access properties like first name and last name. Okay, so that makes sense. What's wrong with my... Let's try this though. If not, user profile user. If not user. Well, really either one of those should work. If not, let's get rid of that. I don't like negative logic. It adds a little bit of confusion. Does it work in the positive case? That works. All right, whatever. User profile user was a bit confusing. Oh, first name's not even necessary there. Do we need this profile then? I mean, user attribute. I don't think so. Let's call it profile. Let me double check here. Profile objects. Should work. And then if I refactor this to remove user dot from everything, except that. I'll come back to that. I'll fix that. Just one. Request user. All right, and then oops. Right, now we're hitting that conditional. Split the logic. All right, it's a bit bit of a rewrite, but I think it works. Let's do that. It's two separate commits. That one works. Here. So yeah, we'll refactor. Yeah, delete commented code. It's a profile template in a way. Well, account. It's whatever. For user from following themselves. Let's see here. That's correct. Just call it that. Just did a Grammarly check. All right, we'll push these changes. About 1 hour. 1 hour into the stream. It's essentially a two-part fix, right? All right. Deleted. So re-request review. Getting pretty close, but we're getting pretty close to being done. Yeah. Removing 4,000 lines, modifying or adding around 1,000. Most of those is, well, it did grow a bit. I wonder the net, where the net comes from. Oh, these migrations probably. Oh, that's only 24. Yeah. So let's recap here. Check out these Dependabot alerts. Very cool. Welcome to a recap of today's open source live code hangout. Today we've been working on the CiviWiki project. If you'd like to check out the source code or get involved with CiviWiki, you can stop by github.com/CiviWiki and check out the Open CiviWiki project. We accept and encourage contributions of all types, not just code. We list here 93 contributors, and there's like one bot, I think, in here. You can see the various types of contributions people have made. A lot of code, but also finding bugs, coming up with ideas, improving our documentation, helping with project management. What's this one? Oh, helping improve our infrastructure or continuous integration, helping with financial management or organization, researching, design work, accessibility. There are a lot of ways that you can contribute to this or other open source projects. A good first stop on any project, but in particular the CiviWiki project, is to open a discussion or join one of the existing discussions. You can also check out our live chat, which has just been rebooted. We're using the Matrix Network, which is an open source alternative to Slack or Discord, which has comparable features and is fully federated or decentralized. We've labeled a number of issues with help wanted, mostly code related right now. And we're also participating in the Hacktoberfest. So any contributions during the month of October will be credited towards your Hacktoberfest participation. Today, I've been continuing with a rather large pull request I've been working on. We're trying to simplify the project and use end-to-end Django full stack. So we want to use all the features of Django, including the templating syntax, rendering content on the server and sending it to the client. We might augment this with some light JavaScript or an Ajax-oriented JavaScript framework like HTMX at a future point. But right now, we're just getting back to the basics and simplifying what used to be a bifurcated code base where we have a client server. The server was rendering mostly data via API endpoints and sending it to a JavaScript single page application client written in Backbone.js. It turned out that architecture was a bit complex for this project, and in fact, I believe led to its long-term decline and inability to essentially thrive or grow. So now we're going back to the basics with the hopes that the development process will be simplified so that a small community can grow around this project and maintain it, adding new features and improvements. The Accounts app is one of our 2 large apps in this project. And so I'm going through all the code and making changes, which turned out to remove a lot more code than I added. And we've just had the first round of peer review. Gorkum Arslan, one of the core and lead developers here, has gone through the changes I made and pointed out several room for improvement, a bit of room for improvement, and most of which I've addressed, just directly changing the code. There was a couple that will be continuation issues. Once this code is merged, we're going to break down smaller chunks to re-implement or reimagine in a way that they're more tractable, rather than doing everything in one huge PR. These will each become tasks that the community can hopefully take up using just Django knowledge. There's also some discussion about a feature that landed a while ago, back in April, where users can essentially delete their account without breaking the structure of the overall data relationships in the CiviWiki data. We have discussions and other parts of our data model that are linked to user profiles. And if you delete an account or profile, that would cause or potentially orphan content or other surprises. And we discussed this over several years, and the feature landed in around April. My pull request happened to touch the code. I think I just renamed the this text to expunged instead of deleted, but really I didn't fundamentally change it. We have to have some value here when resetting the username. You can't have an empty username, and the username has to be unique. So we need sort of like a prefix here. And Gorkum is kind of raising concern about the general approach of handling deletion, which may warrant further action, but I believe that discussion should happen outside of this pull request. I'm not here to right now to change functionality. I happen to remove a couple of features so they can be re-implemented. I'm not going to remove this expungement feature, which goes into a little bit more detail. The reason we have this is that we want to balance the privacy of individuals who want to remove their personally identifiable information from CiviWiki for whatever reason, while maintaining the integrity of the CiviWiki data. And we're in this discussion, which happened over a few years. It was originally opened in 2018. We kind of arrived at a similar solution to what you can see on Reddit or Hacker News, where you can kind of delete your account, but your comments remain visible to preserve the context. Now, it turns out the account is linked to much more than comments here in CiviWiki, so we have to be very careful. But this issue has been closed since April 17. When we received this pull request from Shannon Lau, and I don't want to remove this work when it's not inherently tied to the kind of backbone epic. This is more of a server-side function, and again, I think changed this one line here in my cleanup. So yeah, we can open a new discussion and continue that. One thing that's worth pointing out here, though, is when reviewing pull requests, it's important that the reviewer looks at more than the surface detail, which Gorkum is showing here, their attention to detail. They're thinking not just of like the syntax and the direct changes I'm making, but the broader implications in the project and how it fits in the overall design and direction of the project. So yeah, we definitely we have room for discussion and debate, but we have to do it in a way that's sort of moving the project forward and in a relevant context. So I believe that we should open this or continue this in a new discussion to reappraise how we handle the thing. But yeah, again, this really important, and Gorkum's doing excellent work in the project overall and showing very great attention to detail when reviewing other people's work. So that's highly valued. But that's essentially it. Hopefully this pull request won't need too many more changes. It's already pretty significant, and I think has a few, there's no conflicts. Okay, so if we can merge it, we'll continue onward. Okay, well, stay tuned. And if you'd like to get involved with CiviWiki, we'll be opening some, I'll be describing these in separate issues with actionable scope, and hopefully within the month of October. We got a little bit left in Hacktoberfest. This has been another open source live code hangout. Thanks a lot for your time, and hope to see you around the stream. Have a great day.